Good day, dear friends. Good day. This is the Saturday morning version of this thing of ours. We are simulcasting on X and Facebook and that other thing, Twitter. Or no, X. I said X. And YouTube, of course. We're all doing this. Part of that thing. My friends, I want to begin as I always do, just to give you an idea, remind you of something that we are exactly 150 days away from the elections. 150 days. I tell people that, and I think people say, "Oh, we got it. We got it. We got it." You do, huh? Oh, yeah. Trump's going to win. Oh, Trump's going to win. Oh, yeah. You don't think they can steal the election again legally? No. You trust these people, folks? You do? You trust them? Anybody? You trust these folks? You think they're not sitting back saying, "Watch this. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it even more flagrantly, more 3:00 in the morning ballots, more Dinesh D'Souza, the mules, and that. Man, we're gonna say, oh, are you doing? Do you not know? What are you gonna do? Blame Dominion again? I can see it right now. These people just won't. They won't stop. You're cheating. Oh, there you go again. My God, with your cheating, for the love. Do you think so? Who thinks this is out of the ordinary? Who thinks it's beyond, not out of the ordinary, but beyond the realm of possibilities? Because you know and I know they cheated, they stole it legally. I don't believe any of these things. I don't believe Trump. I mean, Biden got, no. Who's ensuring that? I don't know. It's too big to rig. You think so? Oh, yeah, he's got it. Really? Oh, absolutely. They can't pull that again. Really? Well, look how bad Biden is. You don't know who these people are, do you? You have no idea who these people are. You have no idea who these people are. You think that somehow they're going to say, you cannot predict anything. You have to answer things. Well, if logic would prevail, I would do this. Well, if this would be maybe this, maybe. But you have to understand this and grasp it. They have no decency. They have no, I don't know what the word is. They don't care. All right, enough of that. Two things I want to talk about in particular. I love 1984 is now the instruction manual for the shadow government overlords to tyrannize. Here. And I'm telling you right now that I'm seeing stuff that is so good. And I still have not seen people provide a rational way of critically thinking and applying critical issue analysis to everything that's going on right now. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Never seen anything like it. So we're going to talk about two things in particular. One, there's a case now of maybe a juror might have talked to someone as posted on a Fourth Department Facebook New York court that said, my friend or my cousin, whatever's on the jury, and said, we're going to convict him, thank you, or something like that. And immediately people said, well, is that a mistrial? I don't know if it's a mistrial, but what are the issues? I don't know, but that's good enough for me. Now, wait a minute. What are the appellate standards? I don't care what the appellate standards are. That's nonsense. They're doing it again. And that's all that matters. And I don't care about this. Yeah, but don't you want to know? I don't care what the... Then the Brianna Joy Gray, which is a great story. I don't care. She should shut up. She's an anti-Semite, or she's a genius and a right to speak. And there's First Amendment to say. Again, in all of these cases, no ability to focus on critical thinking. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. It's going to be terrific. So first of all, dear friends, let me remind you, number one, please, for the love of God, I say to you, Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure your subscriptions are listed there, because sometimes people notify me later on that they're unsubscribed for reasons I don't understand. Also, make sure you like the video. Liking is critical. Also, make sure that you, dear friend, make sure that you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And before we begin, here's a great word from our sponsor regarding an important and critical issue, specifically emergency food and what they call euphemistically food insecurity. It's preparewithlionel.com. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have some control, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Well, your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, take $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family to prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 3-month kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day with 22 varieties and a 25-year shelf life. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, everything. And they're sealed inside 6 rugged waterproof buckets, and they're over 120 pounds of food. So take advantage right now and go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. There we go. That was odd. Now, let's talk about the first case. And I love to ask people this because remember, I'm going to train you, dear friends. I'm going to train you. And before I train you, Sparky says, Lionel, realize the decision to fire Brianna Joy Gray was made weeks ago after she performed well in the dissident debates. They waited for the alleged eye-rolling incident for a noble excuse. Well, you know what? We're going to start there first. I will tell you first and foremost that somebody somewhere, this is Nexstar, by the way. Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you, sir. Good. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate that. This is Nexstar. Okay, Nexstar is this new, I don't know what they are, but I think they own News Nation or various station, whatever it is. They're this news. And did they absolutely give in to what appears to be the quote Israeli lobby? Of course they did. Of course they did. But let me explain. Can they? You betcha. But here's what's interesting about this, and I want everybody to understand this. First and foremost, let me give you this, and this is important that we understand. She was speaking, and I have by the way, members of Lionel, I've got a stuff coming up on the Trump verdict, one on the Brianna case, dropping later. You always get early additions to this. So if you become a member of Lionel Nation, we appreciate that. Brianna Joy Gray, who is she? There's a show called The Rising. It's from The Hill. You know, like The Hill, the Capitol Hill. Nexstar owns it. Brianna Joy Gray there and with crystal ball on breaking points. By the way, remember, these were listed recently by Eric Clapton in a wonderful little piece about what he likes and he listens to, and I think it's great. Anyway, make a long story short, that is the new version. That is the new stuff, my friend. So anyway, they are absolutely listen to me carefully. They are pro-Palestine, pro-Gaza, and anti-Israeli government. They're anti-BB. Now, they may also be anti-Zionist. And since Israel is basically the reason for it, the raison d'etre of Israel is the official Jewish state. They could probably be listed as anti-Zionist. Either way, they are not even ordinary in Europe, around the world. Millions of people agree with this. It might be different in our country, but there's nothing about them that they understand. Next, what they are saying is, and she in particular, is an avowed sense of, I'm going to go against the Israeli lobby or the Biden UK version, and I am 100% pro-Palestinian, pro-Gaza, and this has been her position since day one. Sparky says the Israeli nurse Brianna interviewed uses the catchphrase "believe women," making it obvious she was coached. Why did you go out of your way not to point it out? I'm not done yet. I haven't even shown it yet. I'm not done. I'm setting this up. By the way, the nurse was a relative of the of somebody who was missed. And by the way, that doesn't obviously point out coaching at all. Sorry, you may think intuitively, oh, I know what that is. That doesn't apply anything. Let me tell you what the problem was. Let me tell you why I am in support of this. Not that Brianna can't be fired. This is the real world. This is corporate America. But let me show you this thing. This is the piece that everybody's talking about. Let's watch, shall we? Okay. Now, watch this. This is Brianna's look. I know all of the looks. She has a partner, Robbie, who's just basically kind of lump on a log. He's a really nice guy. Doesn't want to get his hands dirty. But this is a woman. I forget her name. Yorin, or anyway, she is a relative. She was a relative, or is a relative of one of the women either kidnapped or murdered or what have you on October the 7th. Up till then, Brianna is fine. She's not rolling her eyes. She's letting the woman talk. She's not saying anything. Nobody is in favor of October the 7th. Nobody says, hey, way to go. Way to go. Go. Yay, Hamas. I mean, if she does, she's not said it publicly. She's been fine. This is when it gets tricky. And I do agree a little bit. This woman, I forget her name. Going in there. She knows who Brianna is. She knows this, and somebody must have told her, by the way, make sure, and this is where I agree with you, make sure that at some point you see single her out for not believing women. Here is the exchange.
Thank you. Me too. And I really hope that you specifically will believe women when they say that they got hurt.
All right. Thanks for joining. Stick around. More Rising coming.
Now,
thank you. Me too.
Listen.
And I really hope that you specifically will.
That you specifically, Brianna, Brianna was fine. Everything was fine. And then she calls her out. That you
believe women when they say that they got hurt.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Okay, so that's the issue. So when you say coached, she was either coached or she knew or she researched. She's going on the show, Sparky. She's going on the show. Most people, when they go on the show, say, who is the guest? Who are the hosts? Well, this Brianna Gray. Read about her. Okay, I know who she is. She is not the woman who is speaking. She's not, I don't believe, a novice when it comes to media appearances. So, in fact, coached is one thing, or she did her research. Either way, she knew of Brianna's cred, her street cred. That's why what Brianna said in return, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Nothing. Because she said, wait a minute, you're talking to me now. And I believe women. You're saying what? I don't believe women who claim that they're the victim of sexual attack. Raul Rodriguez says the shadow government is singing Dick Robertson songs. We did it before and we can do it again. Most probably you are correct. Now understand what's going on. And thank you, by the way, Raul. Make sure we all understand this, okay? In no way, the eye roll, the way they make it sound, Fox News says prior Bernie Sanders reporter or a spokesperson, was fired for. And of course, people like Michael Rappaport, who is a cretin, by the way. I mean, an absolute laboratory definition of cretin. I said, good, you're anti-Semite, and that's where we are right now. Now, bottom line is, Sparky and to everybody else, Brianna has just hit absolute superstar status among her group. Next Star and The Hill ain't where you're going to be. Let me say this again. If you think you're going to make real serious inroads working for Next Star, if that's where you're going to be bold and you're going to really, you got to be kidding. That's as corporate as you can get. And there's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with corporate. Nothing wrong with that. But you know exactly. Now, what happens is you got somebody at Next Star who says, who the hell is this? That's Brianna Joy Gray. I am getting calls left and right. Absolutely. From the Jewish lobby or the Israeli lobby. Yeah. The same way you get calls from the gun lobby and the environmental lobby and the LGBTQ and the woke. Of course. Of course there is. Everybody's got lobby. And by the way, lobby can also be online supporters, the group en masse. Who is she? So recently she goes out there and she is, and here's the point. And Sparky, this is what you and I and Zigzag and Pittman, I want you to listen. Do you want to be a spokesman or do you want to be a broadcaster? Do you want to be a Next Star employee or do you want to go out there and change the world? Do you want to work for The Hill, the corporate concern, or do you want to go out and make your name to stake your claim pro-Palestinian, pro-Gaza, to remind the world of Nakba, to talk about the genocide and ethnic cleansing? If that's what you want to do, you're not going to do it working for Next Star. Do you understand that? You went to Harvard and a law school, Brianna, and you're a grown woman and you know what's going on. You knew this was coming, right? You knew this. And if you go on any nation, if I went on MSDNC and I said, well, another DEI affirmative action hack here, that they're going to fire me. Do I have freedom of speech? Absolutely. Do I have guarantee of my job? Sparky says, yesterday you mischaracterized Max, Brianna, Katie, Aaron as being October 7th deniers. Never said that. None of them denied it. Never said that. They pointed out things which Israel made up, such as beheaded. Never denied it. Never denied it. You can't deny October the 7th. You can't say October the 7th never occurred. You can't. What part and parcel of October the 7th is which definition? What do you think happened? What do you think happened? Do you think that October the 7th was Hamas staging an attack? Yes. Second part is, do you think that on October the 7th, that according to the studies or the allegations, there was beheadings and children killed and people burned and thrown in the ovens? And that's a different story. That's another version of October the 7th. Max Blumenthal, in particular, by the way, he's pretty much the top of the heap of this. But I think Mate's second. And the other ones are kind of almost echoers. He did the research claiming out the bias and biases of the New York Times. And he's the one specifically who calls it into account as to the atrocities. Nobody ever said October the 7th never happened. It's just like if I said to you, 9/11. Did 9/11 happen? Yes. Everybody was there. Did you see this? Yes. Hey, what's missing? The 2 towers. Actually 3 if you call building 7. What happened? They were brought down on October the 11th or September the 11th. Oh, I see. Now we can argue about who did what and why and how much knowledge we knew. That's a different story. But nobody, nobody, nobody has denied October the 7th. What you're having, however, as I said before, and you got to listen carefully, there is a new thing that people are going after. When you do not accept, or when you are believed not to accept an official narrative, to wit, Alex Jones and Sandy Hook. Alex Jones said at first, I think, let me qualify this, I did not listen, but the story is that he said either it didn't happen, and then later on, if it did happen, it was his, whatever it was. And then that was not extrapolated, but that metastasized into people being basically chided and goaded and encouraged to harass family members. And that was really the big problem. So what happens was, in our current lexicon, we hate something called a denier. When those of us questioned the efficacy, the accuracy of the 2020 election, we were called a class election deniers. There were other people who actually, believe it or not, in history, questioned whether there was ever a Holocaust, which is absurd. Others question certain aspects of the reporting of that, which may be not as absurd, but they were lumped in together, and you were Holocaust denier, you're over here. Yeah, but I'm not, you're over there. Election denier. No, I'm just questioning over there. Wait a minute. Some people, I mean, remember, once that label, there are some people who are absolutely, positively, they despise anything to do with Judaism. Absolutely. They are truly anti-Semites. There are other people who have a hard time with Bibi Netanyahu and Israeli government. They're called anti-Semite. Wait a minute. You're in the Quran. Wait a minute. These people hate Jews. I'm Jewish. There are other people who are anti-Zionist. Get in there. They're thrown in there. So people love to throw you into and to corral you, because we never, ever care about specifically going through and saying, what exactly is your position? And by the way, my overarching position is, I don't care what you believe in. You can deny anything you want. You can deny anything you want. I don't even care. I am a JFK. I'm a Lee Harvey Oswald denier. I'm a Sirhan denier. I'm a Gulf of Tonkin denier. Oh, yeah. I guess that's what you call it. Remember what they say about history. History would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. I don't believe history, especially official narratives taught by us in schools, which are indoctrination centers. Sparky says, I didn't catch last night's show until the last couple of minutes, so I watched the replay. You were in gaslighting mode, and you did say Max et al. Said that October 7th didn't happen. No, never said that. Max himself said specifically, it happened. And also, by the way, people were said, do you believe that Hamas is a terrorist organization? And do you believe that was, and I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out somebody who says, no, they're not. They might be rebellion. I think people like Finkelstein look at them as try to compare them to the Nat Turner, and you can get into one man's terrorist as another man. But oh no, October the 7th, no. Absolutely. And all you got to do is listen to him. The question I'm saying for the first time. And by the way, whenever somebody uses terms like gaslighting, cognitive dissonance, that's jargon. That's talk about being fed. That's rule book. That's playbook talk. That's bumper sticker. Remember when you hear this? Gaslighting. Those are people in, I don't want to say counterintelligence, but that's, you know what I'm talking about. Gaslighting, red pill, black pilled, cognitive dissonance. There's another one too. You might want to throw a little bit of Hegelian nomenclature, part of the argot of the speech, the lexicon of not the conspiracists, but our group. Whenever you get into a group, you've got to know the lingo. You can't, in order to show your connection with fellow travelers, you have to speak the same lingo. You've got to know what to say. You've got to use words like, for example, make sure you use in the correct order, genocide, apartheid, and ethnic cleansing. Use it. Not that they're not true, but understand this. If you use that, if you went on Fox News and used that, they wouldn't know what you're talking about. In fact, they'd throw you off. That would scare them. If you use the wrong terms on MSDNZ, those words don't jive. You got to make sure that you always say the right word. Like hegemon, that's a big one. Whenever you want to do Ukrainian talk, different language. Different skill set. When you talk to somebody who ever used the words neoliberals, now you know who you're talking about. Okay, I got you. I know who you are now. All right. So that's not it. So here's the bottom line. And people like the Gray Zone and others, they're on their own. They can say whatever they want. But if honest to God, and you know that Brianna, like most people, they say, well, I don't really care. I knew it was coming. Oh no, they're shocked. They're shocked. She's very upset. And if she's not in tears, not because she's a woman or anything, I just think she's because you have your job, you go there, you get to know people. And Robbie, he doesn't know anything. He's just worthless, this guy. He just sits there and whatever it is. Now, here's a question. Do you think there's any chance of breaking points? I know this is not very inside. I know this for people who are saying, I don't know who these people are, but many do. It happens to be big. Any chance of Brianna going to breaking points? Not at all. Brianna and Crystal Ball together? No way. And I'm sorry, it's true. You've got the two leading I hate these words, pro-Palestinian. That's ridiculous. Pro, whatever you want to call it. Trying to outdo each other? No way. No way. Absolutely not. But let me go back to what I'm saying before, and this is important. This is critical. And I want you to listen to me. Listen to me. Very, very important. Oh, Sparky says, Brianna knew her days were numbered when Katie Halper was fired. She was surprised that she lasted until now. Not really. No. Believe it or not, Katie Halper is another one. Far more. Katie Halper is she's very sloppy. Not in appearance, but in her, she's in that comedy mood. She's in that very sloppy and not at all. Let me explain this to you. Different styles, okay? Different styles completely. Hers is a more gruff, comedy, profane, and Katie Halper Katie Halper knew, and there's no way. Katie Halper knew, there's no way I'll do this for a while, but no. And what happens is you have to realize this. You have to realize that you can say what you want. Just pick the hill you want to die on. Now, remember, there's free speech. Katie Halper and others can go and she can do. I saw one time there was a group. I forget what I tried to watch it. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I tried to because I take a different perspective. It was Katie Halper, Abby Martin, and somebody else doing this kind of like an impromptu. It was a cluster. I mean, it was like, look how hip we are. Look how cool we are. The cool ones. See, we know this. We know what apartheid. We were here first, by the way, and all you latecomers. We're the cool chicks who understand this. We dig. We know all the. Okay, I got that attitude. Blumenthal doesn't come across like that at all. Very serious, very scholarly. Never loses his temper. Aaron Mate too. Very, very good. This one doesn't. But Brianna can't handle it. When she was on that, all they had to do was laugh at her and what you're talking about. Anyway, listen, bottom line is good for her. She's going to be bigger and better than anything you want. What I'm telling you is that, listen to me very carefully. If you're going to go on a show, if you're going to go on whatever it is, when you say, I knew my days were numbered, then you numbered your days. You are not going to be allowed everywhere to go to say whatever you want. And if you don't know that, go and do your thing online. Join the others. You're being held back anyway. The fact that you've got to sit there and have this guy named Robbie interview you, I would like to hear what this Brianna has to say, uninterrupted, unfettered. Go for it. She has her own channel. She's talked to other people. Great. But this is Nexstar. So before people start going, oh, there's a free speech. No, there's no free speech problem. None. This place is trying to hang on. They don't want this. And I've told you this before. I've told you this story until I'm blue in the face. Bob Grant, WABC. This was the most famous person anybody. Yes, I do. She does have. That's right. Thank you for that. Her show is called Bad Faith. It's very good. And I suggest you watch it. And she'll be even better there. She doesn't need this. Plus, I don't like Sparky. The fact she's got to stop and let Mr. Milquetoast always kind of dilute the story. Go out and be yourself, not this. And now go out and double down. Because you have the greatest battle chevron there is. You were kicked off of some corporate, whatever it is, for merely speaking your mind. And Americans sincerely love that. You spoke your mind. You were courageous. Absolutely. So good for you, and do it. That's what you need to do. But I'm going to tell you something. Pick the hill you want to eye on. If you go on some news show, sports show, and you say something like McAfee about, when he used the word white, I think he used the word white bitch, unfortunately, when he was referring to Caitlin Smith. Sorry. I don't think they fired him, but back to Bob Grant. Biggest guy ever. They wanted to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of him. And ABC fought back until somebody from uptown, the headquarters across from Lincoln Center, they said, you know what? That's enough. Bob Grant said something about Ron Brown. That was it. Done. Finished. Get him out of here. And they said, do you understand what this is? Do you understand what this is? This is Bob Grant. And they said, do you understand we're ABC? We're into things like, network TV and movies and whatever ABC does. And we're going to lose millions of dollars in ad revenue because of this little radio station that does it. We don't make anything on that compared to this. What are you, nuts? Are you crazy? That's like when people get all upset about Fox News. How can they cave in? Because to the Murdoch family, Fox News is nothing. They make their money in Sky and this and soccer and NFL. They don't want Fox News. Fox News is nothing. Doesn't matter. And right now, when you have The Hill, and I got news for you, and understand something, and remember what I'm telling you. If you think you're going to go on ABC or whatever it is, or any, solid, and by the way, left or right, you're going to enjoy and if you think you're going to go out and you're going to be perceived as anti-Israel, you're out of your mind. You know it, and I know it. You're out of your mind. You're going to get canned. End of discussion. If you went out at a certain time and if you were to make fun of mask rules, you would get canned. If you questioned the efficacy of certain vaccines, you would get canned. If you said something in favor of Putin or perceived to be in favor of Putin, you would get canned. This is the way it is. If you went on and you said something like LGBT, whatever, is crazy, and kids are being, subjugated by, you're going to be canned. You do know this, right? And especially people who have been in the military. If you think there's any kind of a jurisdiction of fairness, try getting away with that in the military. Try saying something. Disrespect a commanding officer. Good luck with that one. Sparky says, is gaslight really jargon if it's been in common use since the Ingrid Bergman movie? No. Of course it's been. but the way it's used now. False flag has been around since the days of the pirates, but when it's used now, it's a different story. It's somebody say, "Oh, I know who you are." So yes, in fact, there are very few phrases. Neoliberal. Here's one for you: uniparty. It's been around since Wendell Willkie, but now it's like, "Oh, I understand this." Uniparty is what you say when you're on like an hour crew. It's an old term. Very few things are, but it's the jargon, cognitive dissonance, double speak. You know what I mean? Stand by for 1 second. You will talk about a man who knows a little bit about speech and free speech. It's our great friend Mike Lindell with MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at MyPillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas, premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0, My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever, sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets, simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. MyPillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Now, my friends, the other issue I was going to talk about, I was doing some research, and I'm going to talk about this later on, is the idea of what about the story of this Trump juror? It's going to be tough. CPL 440. Doing a little research. This is post-conviction relief. Keep in mind where this is. It's post-verdict, sort of. I don't know if it's yes, it's a formal pronouncement of guilt. So it's kind of it's post-verdict, post-conviction, because sentencing is for July the 11th. So it's not really an appeal. It's a CPL 440, and you allege juror misconduct. And by the by, just to give you some ideas of what juror misconduct is normally considered okay, this is very interesting. Some of the allegations, which have been good before, have been in the notion of if a juror does certain things, like a juror goes, here we go, things like newly discovered evidence, post conviction, things that may or may not. How about juror or bias? Listen to this one. It's something that happens. It's really not subject to an appeal, but let's say you get new information or you find out something after time limits have elapsed. If a defendant, let's say a case President Trump, discovers after trial that a juror committed misconduct or was biased in favor of the prosecution. Now, this is a tough one too. What do you mean bias? What does that mean, bias? Okay. You use 440.1 CPL to vacate the judgment. Misconduct may occur if a juror, for example, conducted an investigation of his or her own, go to the crime scene, find out, consulted a person other than another juror to determine guilt or innocence. And I don't know if we have that here. Juror bias may also be help supporting the judgment. The bias may not be established directly, however, such as a statement. The defendant may show an implied bias, which may be demonstrated when, for example, the juror had applied for a job as a district attorney, but did not inform the court. Maybe a court held that evidence that a juror sent a romantic letter to the prosecutor's trial preparation assistant, or maybe that. And this one, though, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. That would be the greatest thing of all time, however. So even though it's going to be pursued, it throws a wrench into the works. And remember something. I don't care about the truth. I care about what people think. See, I care about the truth for me. But what matters is what you think. Say, for example, let's talk about this about Brianna. Again, as an example. There are people who are so focused, they say, my position is right. Israel is conducting, and they will tell you this, and you can go, you try going on any cable news show, ABC, NBC, Fox, CNN, MSDNC, and MSDNC, and say that Israel or the Israeli government is involved in genocide, and you can cite the ICJ or ICC, or you recommend Bibi being arrested, or they're talking about Bibi Netanyahu coming to the United States to visit the Congress. There are others who are saying they want him arrested here, which I guess could be, but we're not a signatory to any of this stuff. So anyway, if I went to the Brianna Joy crowd or to the Katie Halper crowd or to a group of people who came to see them, I would be absolutely lauded, applauded like you can't believe. And if I said, and these brave students who told the world that they will not stand for this inhumanity, yay, good. Go to the next room. Go to a Trump rally or anything else. And I said the same thing. They would throw my ass out of there so fast. Same facts. I'd be an anti-Semite in this room, and I'd be a humanitarian and a truth seeker in the other. It just depends where you are. But either or, make sure you understand what people think. Sparky says, seems like the juror's cousin thing would be difficult to verify. Seems like the judge could easily judge to deem it insignificant anyway. I think you're correct. But also, Sparky, here's the thing. Why is there misconduct? Let's assume you get picked up. Remember, this is not a grand jury. Grand jury has secrecy. Grand jury, you know what I mean? There's certain rules. There is none. Let's assume your mother or your Uncle Dave is on the Trump jury, and you pick your Uncle Dave up every day at the courthouse to take him home. And you say, how'd the Trump jury go today? Well, pretty good. I can't go into the specifics, but they were going to convict him. Okay. Is that improper? He's not saying, well, what do you think I should do? Or what did the newspapers say? And no, he's not saying that. He's just saying, I think we're going to convict him. Oh, I want to convict him. I hate Trump. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Is that improper? Should that be grounds to vacate the judgment? Well, you might say so. I think probably not. How was it? What if the person says, oh, I hate Trump, but you know, in this case, he's guilty of sin. And I think we're going to find him guilty because he is guilty. Change it. Have you been following this Gilgo Beach killer? Please follow my video on this. Have you seen what he's done? Are you following the Gilgo Beach killer? This serial killer who, for, I think 31 years, out of nowhere this guy came from. Bill Crowell says the key to survival on social media is tell only a small amount of truth. Oh, absolutely. Now, also, there is something called, for lack of to keep it a family show, it's called, as you know, Bill, S posting. Rhymes with ship, sort of. Ship posting, where you say things just to rile people up and just to cause a stir and yay. That's what you do. Oh, by the by, let me ask you this. Would any of you, including Sparky or you, Bill, or Raul or Pittman or anybody, would any of you lose a moment of sleep or say, hey, that's not fair, if you found out Joy Reid was fired because she said something anti-Trump and was fired merely for exhibiting or stating her opinion? Anybody? Would anybody care? Anybody? Anybody? Nope. You wouldn't care at all. Same situation. I don't think people know who Brianna Joy. I mean, they do now, which is one of the benefits of this. But remember, free speech is only for people that we like. We never care about. So, well, of course we should. Well, Joy Reid's she's a nut. She's crazy. Yeah, but it was her opinion. Well, there's a wrong opinion. Brianna Joy. Oh, that's different. That's different. Charlie Calais says perception is reality. Trump can use any ruling to his advantage, can't get a fair trial. Let me ask you something, Charlie. What is a fair trial? What is a fair trial? Better yet, let me start with this question. And I want every one of you wonderful people to answer my question. Do you believe in any way whatsoever? No, I'm not asking you whether you like the law. I'm not asking you whether you care for it. Look, there could be a law that says it's unlawful to spit on the sidewalk. And there are, believe it or not, statutes that say expectorating in public. That's one of the issues. But, and let's assume you think it's a stupid case. It's a stupid case, rather. And you're on trial. I don't know why they'd have a trial. If it's a misdemeanor, I don't think you have a right to a jury trial. But anyway, but in this case, and you're looking there, and there's a videotape of this guy spitting on the sidewalk. Would you find him guilty? Now, you could, of course, nullify the verdict. You could say, I'm not going to find him guilty because I think that's stupid. Or you could say, well, you might think it's stupid. My question is simply this. Can any of you find the president committed a crime in the New York case in any way whatsoever? Can you? This is a tough question. Can any of you? Can any of you find any chance whatsoever? You can say, well, yeah, I think I like Trump. I'm voting for him. He plays a little fast and loose with the rules, but yeah, I can. Technically, yeah. Can you? Can you do that? Can you do that? It's critical. Can you do that? It's really the most important issue there is. You say no crime. Think about this. Do you think so? You think so? Any crime? Well, here's the issue. Out of the 4 criminal cases, number one, you've got the January 6th case. Okay, theoretically, I can understand. All right, yeah, he might have said something which could have incited. Okay, yeah. All right, I can see, I understand the charge. Yeah, I could find him guilty if there was evidence of it. I don't know if there is evidence, but yeah, at least I understand the charge. Number 2, the Mar-a-Lago case. That's clearly easy to understand. That case is dead too, by the way. The first case, by the way, is dead because the Supreme Court has not ruled on immunity. The second case, however, as far as Mar-a-Lago, I think, well, he did have some. I mean, look, if he took, it's kind of like almost a strict liability. If you've got the papers and you shouldn't have had them, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, maybe, okay, maybe. All right, fair enough, right? Fair enough. What else is there? Well, there's the Georgia case. Okay, false electors, integrity, racketeering, probably not, but okay, at least I understand it. To answer your question, I cannot find the president guilty of the New York case because I don't understand it. I don't care if it's Joy Reid as a defendant. I don't understand this Byzantine labyrinth of charges that don't make any sense. He falsified business records. And how did he do that? He falsified business records. Okay. And he did that in order to hide another crime, which was a state election law, which itself involves a subpart as to no. The answer is I can't do it. I don't understand any of this case. It'd be easy. I mean, the statute makes sense. Sparky says should have convicted Donald Trump for hiring Pompeo, Bolton, Ray, etc. Should have convicted him. I don't know how you're going to convict him. I listen. Donald Trump was an absolute putz when it comes to listening to Pompeo, Bolton. Remember General Kelly, Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis. He didn't know. He had nobody. Who was the first guy? Oh God, the Exxon executive. I mean, he had the worst. Oh, his foreign policy in some respects, the horrible. If there is a God, I would have, and he would never be allowed it, but John Mearsheimer would be my Secretary of State. Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, do you know how close we are to a nuclear action in Russia and Ukraine? Nobody wants to talk about that. You don't want to talk about that. It's inconceivable to you, isn't it? I know it is. Because you thought, I think we were past all that, right? I know. You think that that's just done, right? Right? You think that, there's, closer than it's ever been. Not a nuclear annihilation, but tactical weapons. And Putin said the other day, you don't understand. And Lavrov, he said, you're pushing us. You don't understand what you're doing. You think we're kidding around. You're doing this HIMARS stuff. But forget people don't understand this, because as is in some respects, and I think you'll agree with me, in our country, there is a Pavlovian response to this. And this is what people will tell you. And it's from years and years of just media and just the way we think. The nation, the state of Israel, there is the state or the country, the people, the history, the whatever it is. But then there's the government. And whether it's Menachem Begin or Golda Meir or whoever it is, but in particular, later on, Israel, there is this absolute bulletproof third rail. Whatever they do, they deserve it. That's the way it is. They've been through hell. They were they are a de minimis proportion. Jews, forget Israelis, but just Jews on the planet. Was it 0.02%? I mean, 2% in this country. And that's more than. But there up to now has been this rule, and I have seen it, and it's been on talk radio, and you'll still see it. Never, ever, ever question it. It's a different set of rules. What they did, what they went through, which is true. And you can, if you deny the Holocaust, if you're saying that was just some kind of a myth, you're not paying attention. You're not. It's like denying a lot of things. Versions of it are a different story with any story. But anyway, the story has always been, if you do this, number one. Number two, they have the right to defend themselves. Number three, they are surrounded by terrorists. Hamas is an organization. This is part of the Articles of Faith. Hamas is an organization determined and committed to their destruction. So anything they do, up to and including anticipatorily wiping them out. And with war comes a very sad reality: innocent people and children. But as you will hear, Gaza had the chance to vote these people out, and they sat back and they allowed this to happen. And the Palestinians, all they've got to do is just reject Hamas, and we'll live in peace. And that's the story. And now coming up, news, sports, and weather, and that's the story. That's all they know. That's it. That's all they know. And that's as far as you can go. Bill Crowell said Norman Finkelstein is a must read about some things. Oh, Bill, do you remember? First, if ever there was a guy who was not ready for social media, when I saw the debate between, it was, what's his name? Maui. Not so. Anyway, very, very eloquent gentleman. I think he's Dutch. Anyway, it was this debate between Benny so and so and Destiny. This annoying, fast talking shill. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a social media guy. He speaks real fast. Anyway, he makes Ben Shapiro seem like Stephen Wright. And then you have Norman Finkelstein, who talks at this pace. I don't have a cell. Okay. Finkelstein is brilliant. And when you realize, you say, oh my God, he's so methodical. There was a must see. Jordan Peterson, who I cannot listen to. Jordan Peterson, his daughter, Michaela, had an interview with Norman Finkelstein. And she just kept quiet through the whole time. Watch it. It's fascinating. She never said a word. And good for her. She just let him speak. This is a fellow who was the D.B. Cooper of the internet after Dershowitz clobbered him when he claimed Dershowitz had committed plagiarism. Don't forget, if you steal from one, it's plagiarism. If you steal from a bunch, it's called research. But anyway, there was this debate. I think it was an Amy Goodman. Oh my God. And Finkelstein was denied tenure, basically sent to Siberia. Elba, he was gone, done, finished. See ya. Disappeared into the night. D.B. Cooper. Never saw him again. Never saw the chute open. And then all of a sudden he's back. He's on fire. On fire. These other people that you never heard about. Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter's back. He's back. It's all these other people. It's this new, not only are there people coming back from the dead, but this new appreciation for different thinking patterns that normally one may not have listened to before. Sparky says, for instance, if Donald had done his simplest cursory research, the world would have seen that Ray and Sally Yates were best buddies. Yes. But one of the things and I agree with you, he was naive. Trump is not naive anymore. He never knew. That's why he never went after Hillary. He thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Do you folks, dear friends, remember Vietnam? Do you remember Vietnam when we talk about Vietnam now compared to what was Vietnam in maybe 1970, 69? That's right. If you said anything about Vietnam later, the only people, he's like, you un-American, you commie rat bastard, they hated your guts. And then later on, they said, oh, you're absolutely correct. It was horrible. But that's what I said. Well, okay, that was then, but this is now, and this is different. This is the most important thing in the world. This is the most important thing in the world. And speaking of which, look at your friend Ben Shapiro with Candace Owens. Now that one isn't even worth. If you don't know what that was about, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And it's their right. Absolutely, they can fire anybody they want. But Candace Owens cannot sit in the same room with Ben Shapiro. And they're absolutely antithetical regarding Israel. No way. Let me ask you, Sparky and others, and our good friend Carl and Andy and everybody else, why do you think Bobby Kennedy Jr. they've given him a pass? He started off, and by the way, I'm an observer. Let me remind you, I'm an American citizen. And this is what I care about. And I can understand, but I think what's happening in Gaza is horrible. It's a massacre. You don't want to call it genocide? Fine. Annihilation, massacre. It's inhumane. It's horrible. You want to worry about, well, is it apartheid? Fine, debate it. I don't. It's horrible. It is beyond. You've got to be blind not to see this. You've got to blindness. Anyway, aside from that, do you? Let me back up. Nobody cares about this. Americans don't care about what's going on in the Middle East. They don't care about it. They don't care about Ukraine. If you think those are issues that are going to spur, sorry. The median voter in the United States is 55 years old, not college educated. And for some reason, maybe you can tell me, for some reason, the protests here in New York in particular have all stopped. We don't see protests at schools anymore. Why is that? Who's behind that? Where'd the protests go? Where? Where'd the protests go? Where? What happened to them? I don't know. Where'd they go? They were here, but now they're gone. So it's fascinating. I don't understand this. And everybody here, 100% on board. And who are the people who, oh, and by the way, Democrats, where's Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib? She's doing her thing for her. Ayanna Pressley, gone. AOC on Palestine, nowhere. Bernie Sanders, nowhere. They're not stupid. It's the death sentence in this country. You dare do that in Congress? Forget it. Forget it. And by the way, it's not just Israel. Same thing would have happened if you tried this at the peak of COVID for you to say, you know, I think we should look at the safety. People are running. They would have, I mean, are you kidding? Do you remember with Ukraine when they had a joint meeting? Remember when they had that joint meeting of Congress and Zelensky addressed the Congress? Well, Netanyahu's coming, but I don't think they want that. Because the last time that happened, Netanyahu came was when he came and he basically scolded our president, Obama. Now, you may not like Obama, but what they did to him, no. Nancy Pelosi saying stay away. Schumer, Nadler, oh, no. This is Bibi Netanyahu, understand something, is in the fight for his life. If the moment he steps down, the moment he is not the supposed commander, version of the commander-in-chief, he gets arrested in Israel for pending charges. Not the ICC. No. Absolutely not. This is life or death for him. This is it. And you can ask questions, but where are the you mean to tell me you don't know where the hostages are now? Excuse me. This is the greatest form, the greatest assemblage of intel ever known to mankind, with the most sophisticated of instruments and cell phone monitoring. And you don't know where the hostages are? You didn't know about October the 7th? Come on. Please. And if I'm asking the questions and I'm just a cursory observer, imagine what they're saying there. So this is a complicated deal, my friends. But do not expect, and let me say this again to Brianna. If you think you're going to get away with that, I don't care. And I just said it. She rolled her eyes because this woman basically attacked her personally. You're never going to hear anybody say that. Of course not. But Brianna, if you think you're going to do that on TV, you're out of your mind. And Nexstar, you think they're going to do this? Nexstar? Aren't they the same folks who brought you what? Fredo Cuomo? Come on. Please, just, that's dead. That thing is done. That's like watching the Lawrence Welk show to find out the latest news from Vietnam. It's like, that's Lawrence Welk. What are you watching? It's a music. It's the same thing. You got to know where to look. They got to know they're trying their best just to, oh, I saw something. Did you see where AM radio in Japan won't be anymore? Pretty soon, AM radio is going to go the way of like shortwave. That's another story. Don't tell the radio people that because they think, oh, AM is still the greatest thing in the world. Really? Okay. In any event, oh, there he is. Sparky says, Michael Caine pointed out that a character doesn't need to speak fast if they're in charge. Oh, I love his master, his master classes. Clint Eastwood told us that. Clint Eastwood. What did he say? Barry Taylor, by the way, says, if George Washington gave up, we wouldn't be sitting here enjoying the freedom we have. It's interesting. Barry, do you think that we, and this is interesting, we would have remained under British rule basically as an up. Do you think that we would not have freedom of speech? That I mean, if you look at the UK today as where we would be now without them, do you think we would be what? Would this be like Devil's Island? We always talk about this. Let me ask you something. Can you name an American war? Can you name an American war that guaranteed our ability to speak freely? Did the Vietnam War guarantee our freedoms? Did the Korean War, World War II, what would have happened if the Axis countries won? Where would we be today? Would the United States, if Germany takes Russia or Germany takes Europe, would the United States be speaking German? Do you think? Do you think? And I'm not relitigating World War II. Don't get me wrong. When was our individual freedom at stake? Do you know who would, if we lose our freedom, it's going to be internally. And there are many, many freedoms. Let me also tell you something, and I think you will all agree with me. I'm not worried about the First Amendment. Remember, it's not the thought police, it's a thought vigilantes. The people that hurt us more are citizens. Joy Reid has done more. Corporate shills. Dare I say Sean Hannity, or people who work for corporate groups who phrase my world, my information world is a pipe dream. Doesn't mean I'm not going to keep looking for it. I want to be nothing but the truth. The absolute kind of come to Jesus, just spill your guts. Let's talk about what happened. And not have these silly hearings and things that don't really matter. So in any event, dear friends, what a morning. Thanks to you. Thanks to you indeed. Barry Taylor, thank you. Sparky, my friend, you have been on fire. I thank you immensely. Bill Crowell, you as well, dear friend. Charlie Calais, I thank you for your insight as well. And let me see who we have here. And that is that. Now, I will be today. I very well may be here at, we'll do a live at 5. I think 5 o'clock makes sense because I got some stuff to do and I don't want to in any way ruin our time together. So let's look at 5. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're a part of this. And let me see, which is also very, very critical. Let me see something here. Dear and great and loyal friend, stand by for news. Stand by here. There is a video that I want you to watch. And this was very important. This is a very good one. This was here we go. This was this past week. This is a video I did, an interview with Natalie Morris from Redacted. And this is the link for that. Just click that on and view it. There you go with that. And it was about the trial. And there's much to be said still going on regarding the Trump trial. It's not over with yet at all. It's not over with. Let me just leave you. There's more to be said. Wouldn't that be great if all of the cases went away? All 4 of them. I don't want to get too ahead of it because I start thinking, I start dreaming too much, and I don't want to be disappointed. All right, dear friends. Also, I ask you, please follow right now Mrs. L. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Follow her right now for the most important and critical information on not only protecting against child trafficking and human trafficking, but digital safety and child predation. Lynn'sWarriors.com. All right, friends. See you today. I think 5 o'clock. So until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da-da.